my top 5 regrets for the homeschooling journey. Welcome to That Restful Life. My name is Clarinda. I have been homeschooling for 13 years and our oldest recently had his matric farewell. So much fun. The oldest child is like the pioneer, trailblazer, a bit of a guinea pig in many things. But we started off this journey 13 years ago out of a response to wanting to discover his potential. And we took this journey year by year. I really hope that when you come onto this channel and you hear me sharing my story, just the insights of motherhood, homeschooling, faith, all of this is meant to encourage you on your journey. I haven't arrived yet because I've got 2 other kids that we are still going through this journey with, but sometimes it's good to stop and pause and reflect on what would have made this journey even much more fulfilling than it is now. The first regret I have, especially in the early years, I fixated so much on what we stand to lose out on rather than on what we stand to gain in this journey. There was a lot of fear going into homeschooling. There was a lot of insecurity because it just wasn't the done thing around the circles that we moved in. So I hyper focus, honestly, too much focus on all the things that could possibly go wrong. What if I don't have what it takes? What if we fail our child? What if we don't know what we're doing? What if we mess things up? What if all the what ifs that come into the fore when you're making this big decision? I wish that I had just taken a deep breath and focused more on what we hope for, and we are putting faith into action by taking this step of homeschooling rather than what we fear the most. If you checked out my other video, and I'll link it below, we spoke about just the reality of navigating these tough decisions. And I just wish right on the early front, I had put on a sense of curiosity and excitement and faith and just ease off the pressure by just focusing on, hey, these are the things that we are hoping for. This is our vision and this is what we're trusting God for. And let that be the focus and leave it right there. So that is my first regret. My second regret came in the form of a lie. And the lie was, you are not good enough. You do not have what it takes. Okay, I don't know about you, but I was not raised as a homeschool kid. I was raised on schooling, and our desire as parents was to actually find a great school for our child, put him in there, and woof, in like 12 years time, it will all be baked and you can just admire the finished product. It's okay to not know what you're doing, but it's a lie to say that you don't have what it takes or that you're not enough, because the truth is, in the midst of that overwhelm and the sense of feeling really, really vulnerable, is the reality that we're never meant to go on this journey alone. Especially since when in the beginning, our son was struggling with some auditory processing things. I had my share of so many therapy sessions of speech therapy and OT and pillar to post, learning what does auditory processing mean, and all of these things that brought me face to face with a bunch of experts who seem to know what they're doing. And I just, in the beginning, I wish that I wasn't as intimidated by that I would have seen it as a support and a help rather than a disqualification. So that is my encouragement to you. If there is a lie, actually, it's so important to pause and think, what are the lies that I'm believing in my homeschooling journey? Lies about myself, lies about my children, lies about the way I see my world. How you frame and understand the lens that I'm wearing is so important. And I wish that I had taken more time in the beginning to nip those lies in the bud. My third regret is, oh my goodness. Okay, backstory. Picture this. You're new to homeschooling, you haven't got a reference point. So the thing that you think of doing the most when you've made this decision is, of course, we're going to turn our house into a school. Like, isn't that what we're doing? We're going to do school. We're going to homeschool. We're going to do school at home. Wrong. I think one of the biggest hindrances initially to actually embracing this journey as something totally different to what I was familiar to, which is school, was actually trying to redo school at home, just changing the destination of school and bring it home. And I really want, it may sound very controversial here, I want to encourage you and challenge you that homeschooling is not bringing school to home. There are elements of school that will show up at home, but to toss that idea is the biggest and most freeing thing about discovering what homeschooling is really, really about. Because when you try and bring school at home, what you fixate on is what is the right formula, what's the right routine, what are the right subjects. You fixate on a formula and a curriculum rather than discovering what is learning really about. How do I create an environment where children can, in age-appropriate ways, develop and grow? What character needs to be shaped here at home? What are the habits that need to be the rails that our life of learning flow and are driven from? What are the things that we value as a family? Who are we? And what does it mean to us uniquely as a family when our child is thriving and growing? I wish that I had spent more time there than just, oh my gosh, I have to create school at home, I have to do it perfectly, because that brought so much striving and so much unnecessary wanderings. I went off course, and I want to spare you that. Just do not do that. The fourth thing, I spent so much time trying to copy and paste someone else's ideas onto my homeschooling, forgetting that my children are unique, I am unique, our family is totally unique. I really believe that the quality of our homeschooling is made even more beautiful when we understand who we are, and we do life from that place of identity rather than copy and pasting everywhere we go. Oh, I like this, or I like that. It just causes so much confusion and striving. And so I wish that I had just embraced and not try to make my children something that they were not try to make the curriculum fabricate and mold my children, and instead use the curriculum to serve what we are valuing as a family. And so that is my fourth regret. Now, this is my biggest regret of them all, okay? This is the one that delayed the most, because I can see myself, remember myself in different stages of growth and development, worrying about new things, right? When they're toddlers, you worry about one thing. When they're preteens, you worry about another thing. You just find new worries for new seasons. And I just wish I had just taken a deep breath, surrendered to that sense that I am not in control, okay? And to look at what is to be celebrated instead of the worrying and anxiety driving so much. Worry and fear is just something that, there was times in my homeschooling that I had to look them in the eyes and deal with those. But it has been the biggest stealer of joyful learning in my homeschooling life, because none of these worries actually have come true. None of these worries have mattered. And looking back, I'm like, I can see how I've changed as a mom with our lastborn versus our firstborn. With the lastborn, you are way more relaxed because you realize you are able to put these worries and fears into the right perspective, and you are a lot more realizing that it's not according to your strength, but God gives you the grace that you need. And I think that's part of why this restful life situation that I come and show, I'm just here to tell you, it's all going to be okay. You want to be present for the journey. You want to draw on where true strength lies and find beauty and nurture it. And the rest is literally none of your business. And I wish that I had just tossed that so much earlier than I did. Anyway, those are my top 5 regrets in my homeschooling journey. If you don't mind, comment below and let me know some of your regrets of homeschooling and motherhood, and we can learn from one another. And if there's any one of these regrets you'd like me to elaborate further, or you have some topics regarding our homeschooling journey that you would like me to cover, please pop it into the comments as well. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.